Okay, see that number behind me? $39 trillion. That's what my country owes. And before you feel smug about it, screw you. You were born owing.
A debt you never signed, on money that doesn't exist yet. More than any humans in history, and almost none of us can say to whom.
Right? We treat debt like it's modern. Credit cards, student loans, paying for... But a narrator just told me something insane. Debt is older than money itself.
Older than coins. Older than the wheel had good PR. 5,000 years back, vlogger. And try not to get sold this time. And where it all begins isn't a bank. It's a temple.
Whoa. Mud, reeds, no streets, no coins, nothing that beeps. Where's the bank?
Uruk, the world's first real city. No coins for another 25 centuries, yet you're standing in the oldest bank on Earth, the temple.
He's writing on mud with a stick.
The first thing humans ever wrote wasn't poetry or prayer. It was a receipt. 80% of the oldest tablets. Who owns what? Who owes what?
Hold on. The first writing was accounting?
The oldest human name we have isn't a king or a hero. It's Kushim on a beer grain tablet. History's first celebrity, an accountant.
5,000 years, and humanity's first celebrity is the guy from accounting. Legend. Absolute legend.
Laugh, but it's genius. A whole credit economy run on trust and clay. Interest already baked in. 20% on silver, and no coin ever changes hands.
And that little stone rolly thing?
His seal was his signature, pressed in the clay, sometimes sealed in an envelope no one could fake. Tamper-proof, 4,000 years before the PDF.
So before we built money, we already built owing.
Debt didn't follow civilization, vlogger. Debt invented the pen. But a promise this powerful needs a leash, and the next city learns that the hard way.
Okay, this is a glow-up. Bigger, brighter, and that giant black stone is giving main quest.
The Code of Hammurabi. 282 laws in black basalt. Everyone knows an eye for an eye. But the real revolution is the debt laws.
What does it say?
If you can't pay, you hand over your wife, your son, your daughter, or yourself to work it off in the creditor's house.
Wait. They can take your kids as payment?
Debt slavery. For most of history, owing could cost you your family, your freedom, your body. But Hammurabi does something no one had done before. He limits it.
A limit?
3 years. Serve 3, and in the 4th, you walk free. The first law that won't let a debt swallow a human being whole. And the big one. Every so often, a king raised a golden torch at New Year and wiped the slates clean. Debts cancelled, debt slaves freed.
He just deletes everyone's debt? The first bailout in history. And it's for the people.
They didn't file it. They destroyed it, dissolving the clay back to mud. Their word for it, amargi, is history's first word for freedom.
Freedom. And it meant your debts are gone.
The clean slate is older than the alphabet. Dozens of cancellations across Mesopotamia. Remember it. In 4,000 years, we'll be screaming for it again.
From mud huts to this? Marble, banners, actual streets? I love it here.
Florence, 1345, the birthplace of modern finance. Two families, the Bardi and the Peruzzi, the biggest banks Europe had ever seen.
So this is a bank. A guy in a fancy bench?
That fancy bench, banco, is literally where we get the word bank. Debits one side, credits the other. The modern world, invented on a table.
Okay, so who do you lend to when you're the biggest bank alive?
A king. Edward III needs a fortune for a little project, the 100 Years' War. They lend it against England's wool. Wool was England's oil.
How much we talking?
Around 1.5 million gold florins, worth more than a kingdom. They bet the whole house on one man's war.
Let me guess. The war goes badly, and the king doesn't pay.
He just walks away. And the biggest banks in the world fold like wet parchment. Peruzzi, gone. Bardi, gone.
So the bank that was too big to fail, failed. Because one powerful guy ghosted his bill.
And the man who wrote it all down, the chronicler Villani, was ruined in the crash, jailed for his own debts. The historian of the collapse buried by it.
When you owe the bank owns you. When a king owes the bank.
When a king owes the bank belongs to him. Lend small, you own the borrower. Lend a fortune to the powerful, and they own you. Now, everyone is both.
Okay, I'm home. Same screens, same numbers, but now I actually see it. Narrator, how bad is it, really?
Today, America owes about $39 trillion. 123% of everything it makes in a year. All three agencies just downgraded it.
And the interest on that debt?
The interest alone just passed $1 trillion a year. The country now spends more on its debt than on its entire military. The fastest growing thing the government buys is yesterday.
But that's governments, that's not me.
Households owe $18.8 trillion. Credit cards near 21%. Student loans, $1.6 trillion. Spread across 43 million people.
Wait, and I heard if your loan finally gets forgiven?
Forgive a loan now, and it's taxed as income. The bill lands the same week. Babylon raised a golden torch. We send a $10,000 invoice.
That's bleak. and brutally on brand.
The newest face of an ancient thing. Buy now, pay later. Split dinner into 4 payments with one tap. Half of Gen Z uses it more than credit cards.
Debt for a burrito? Who's hungry? Someone screaming.
And most of it's invisible now. No clay, no seal, no name. Yet the same 4 moves you've watched for 5,000 years. You owe, it grows, someone defaults, someone gets bailed out.
Except the bailouts go to the banks, and the clean slate, the majority, we tax it.
5,000 years. Stylus, steely, quill, touchscreen. The tool changes. The machine never does. Someone writes what you owe, and that record can free you or break you.
Here's the thing nobody tells you. Debt was never really about the money. It's a promise, the oldest one we ever wrote down. A promise that ties a farmer to a temple, a king to a bank, and you to a screen. For 5,000 years, we've known the cure too. Every so often, someone lifts the torch and wipes the slate. The only question that's ever mattered is, who gets the clean slate this time? If this rewired how you see that number on your screen, subscribe. You'll never look at paying for the same way again. And tell me in the comments, should the slate ever be wiped clean? A real debt jubilee? Or does someone always have to pay? I genuinely want to know. See you in the next one.